Well, hi. You know, working in the gas station is really rewarding for me because I like working outdoors and meeting people. And because we're outside, it places us out of the protection of the store. Thus, we've got a greater chance of something happening, like a robbery. That's why I'm here today. I've been asked to explain to you folks who work in the gas station what you can do to prevent a possible robbery, and if one occurs, what you should do. We're going to look at a robbery situation through the robber's eyes, or in other words, as the robber saw it. First, let's go over some general information you should know. If you see someone loitering, like those people over there, or if you see someone driving around the station for no apparent reason, you should call security. It could be a telltale sign that these people are casing the station for the possibility of making a hit. They're leaving. Well, if we see them again, I'll call security. Okay, now you're all aware that making cash drops is an important part and a requirement of your job. Our company has many types of gas stations, and for every style there are different policies. So we won't get into specifics in this program. Just make sure you're familiar with the exact cash drop policy your particular station uses. Remember the robbery situation I told you about earlier? Let's take a look at it now. Watch for instances you think should or shouldn't have happened. Afterwards, we'll go back and take a look at it again and count how many instances you could have found. Let's watch.
I'm fine, thanks, but has it ever been busy here today? I must have done at least $1,000 worth of business. No, I'm not kidding. Really?
Hey, lady.
So, how'd you do? See 2, 3, maybe 4 things that could have been done differently? Actually, there were 5 instances. Let's take another look at the situations that led to the robbery, and we'll stop at each of the 5 areas and point them out to you. The first one was a bit difficult to catch, but do you remember we talked about people loitering? The associate should have been keeping an eye out for this type of activity. Then how about this one? Did you notice that the associate never acknowledged the customer entering the building? By greeting the customer, you not only let them know you know they're in the store, but you could change a potential robber's mind by the mere fact of having given them attention. And this is definitely not a good idea. Counting money in the view of everyone is like sending out an invitation to be robbed. Another mistake. Talking about the amount of business you've wrung is not only against company policy, but could provide an incentive for the robber to make a hit. Robbers love this. Do you know what I'm referring to? It's those signs blocking the windows. Robbers don't like to be seen, and signs on the window provide excellent cover.
Hey, lady.
Now that we've looked at a robbery and how it could have been prevented, let's go over what you need to know if you are robbed. First of all, you should know that most robberies take less than 2 minutes, so don't resist. Above all, don't make the robber more upset than they already are. Be sure to obey all demands, but don't volunteer information. If there's another person in the area that the robber isn't aware of, like an associate working around the corner, you should let the robber know. This could save the other person's life, especially if the robber is armed and surprised by the person who unknowingly walks into the situation. By the way, does this bother you? If it bothers you, you can bet it'll bug the robber too. And you don't want to do that, so don't stare into a robber's face. As a matter of fact, if you've noticed, most of the things we've talked about all deal with keeping the robber as calm as possible so as to reduce the chance of violence. After the robbery, try to get a license plate number, but under no circumstances should you chase the robber. The hold-up button should be pressed, but only after the robbery has taken place. If you go for the hold-up button during the robbery, you're putting yourself in immediate danger from the robber's retaliation. And if the police arrive before the robber escapes, you've just created a hostage situation for yourself. So, the robbery has taken place. You're a bit shook up, but you did everything right and you're unharmed. It's important to call the police right away. And for goodness sake, stay on the phone. You'd be surprised the amount of calls that police get where the caller hangs up before the location is even given. When the police have received all the information they need, you should then call your supervisor. Your supervisor will advise you to lock the station door and continue to handle customers by using the night window only. Above all, do not discuss the robbery with anyone except the police and your supervisor, and especially not the customers. Remain calm. Your supervisor will also ask you to protect the crime scene by not touching areas that might contain the robber's fingerprints. Look for witnesses that might have seen something, and make some notes about how the robber looked and acted. There'll be some forms to fill out, and that's about it. There's been a lot of information covered today, and I'm sure you have questions. Let's review prevention one more time. First, keep an eye out for people loitering around the station and surrounding areas. Second, acknowledge the customer. Third, keep money and anything that would invite a robbery out of sight. Fourth, don't discuss company sales or business with anyone anytime. And fifth, make sure you have a clear view of the station and people outside have a clear view of what's going on inside. Hopefully, you'll never be involved in a robbery situation. And by following the techniques you've learned today, maybe you can help to defuse a possible robbery before it's ever attempted.